I'd like to start with how it was that I began, because up until 1983, I really considered myself a pretty shy person. That, however, in July of that year, something happened that would change my life forever when it came to preaching. I went to my first preaching workshop in July of 1983, and it was given by Sister Joan Delaplane, who is a powerful preacher and is now a retired expert professor of liturgical preaching. So she got up and she proclaimed the passage from John's Gospel about the man sitting by the pool of Bethsaida near the sheep gate of Jerusalem. And he'd been sitting there for 38 years. And Jesus came along and said, "Do you want to be healed?" And she became the man. And she said to us, "Well, you may think that's a very easy question to answer, but I will tell you it's not." And then she gave a list of all the reasons why she wasn't at all sure that she wanted to be healed. Well, as she was talking, literally, I felt a fire in my belly, and I just knew I had to learn how to do this. And so there it was, and when I started preaching in 1986 in my first parish in ministry, I realized I had a lot to learn, but it was so important to me to be faithful to the Scripture, not to have my own agenda, but to pray with the Scripture and to listen for how the Spirit moved. And I could always tell. I might have some ideas, but there was always a spark somewhere along the line that I knew, okay, this is the little bit the kernel that I start with. I also knew it was important not to preach at the people, but to be among them and with them. And so as part of that, I started a practice that I've continued for years, which is to meet with a small group of people from the parish and spend an hour talking over the readings, because what that does is it helps immerse me in the community and to listen to where people might have questions and their wisdom. I remember one time when I thought I knew where I wanted to go before the meeting, and a fellow came in and started talking about his experiences of farming growing up. And it fed directly into the second reading, and I thought, uh-oh, this is where I have to go with this. So it is for me a sacred ministry and a responsibility. It is a joy. It is a lot of hard work. It is continual learning. And at a certain point, when one of the priests I was working with really encouraged me in this, I was able to get away from the ambo and to be really down among the people. And it felt like a conversation that I was having with them. Now, I had written it all out. I had spent time getting it into me. And there have been a few moments along the way where, like, I have blanked out, but I said to myself, well, just keep talking along the same lines and it'll come back, and it always has by the grace of God. So it is a challenge and a joy. And like I said, most of all, it's a sacred responsibility.